Fallout New Vegas is probably one of the best games that I've ever played, and it's definitely one of the most beloved games of the Fallout franchise itself. I had played through it once only back when it originally released on the Xbox 360 in 2010, and I only had 13 of the 50 total base game achievements that were available at the time. So I think it's time we finally re-enter the Wasteland and grind out the remaining 37 achievements the game has to offer.
The game was rigged from the start.
Now, according to True Achievements, it supposedly takes 60 to 80 hours to get all the base game's achievements unlocked because of the leveling grind that you have to do to reach level 30, and the fact that you actually need to beat the game while aligned to all the different factions, including completing one of those playthroughs with hardcore mode enabled from the second that you leave Doc's house at the beginning of the game. So, after leaving Doc's house with the hardcore mode enabled, I decided that I was first going to knock out my leveling and exploration achievements right away by using a known leveling exploit that can be used while playing the game on the Xbox. Now, all you have to do in order to use this leveling exploit is head down to the saloon down the street from Doc's house and talk to Sunny Smiles and finish the tutorial where she'll have you shoot some bottles behind the saloon before heading back inside to see Trudy and Joe Cobb having an argument. Once they're done with their argument, though, you gotta follow Joe outside and talk to him and agree to kill a guy named Ringo. Now, Ringo's in a building just to the right of Doc's house where you can easily put him out of his misery and head back to Joe. Once you talk to Joe again, he's going to ask you to go exploit some of the members of Goodsprings for supplies for his gang. However, instead of working for Joe, you need to make the decision that he just isn't any good for the town and take him and his crew out instead. And after they're all dead, you've essentially put yourself in an infinite time loop where you can go speak to the guy inside the general store next to the saloon and select the speech options related to the Powder Gang quest line to get infinite experience. And I won't lie, this is kind of boring spamming this, but within a couple hours of starting the game, I was able to knock out the up-and-comer achievement for reaching level 20 and the boss achievement for reaching level 30. Not to mention, I actually got an achievement I wasn't expecting, the Outstanding Orator achievement, for successfully compelling an NPC 50 times for using speech challenges. Anyways, after I hit level 30 before I left though, I leveled up and grabbed the Explorer perk, which allows you to see all the locations on the map, which made the next couple hours of exploring the map much easier to unlock the Walker of the Mojave and the Master of the Mojave achievements for discovering 125 locations on the map. Because I know if I didn't have the Explorer perk, I would have been randomly roaming all over the place trying to unlock shit and getting stuck in corners, and that just would have sucked, right? And on top of that, while doing our exploring, I unknowingly stumbled across the Gobi sniper rifle, one of the best sniper rifles in the game, just Sniper's Nest, and it's in the southeast corner of the map. And also picked up enough duplicate items off enemies I killed along the way to repair 30 items in my inventory to unlock the Jury Rigger achievement as well. After all that though, I headed back to Goodsprings to start looking for the man who shot me to progress the main storyline, where I ended up helping send some ghouls into space on a rocket. And during that questline, I actually ended up unlocking the No Tumbler Fumbler achievement for successfully picking 25 locks. And pro tip on this, because I didn't know this until it was too late, if you're low on bobby pins for lock picking, you can use the rest feature to autosave the game before picking a lock, so you can just revert to your autosave file in case you break them. Or if you're about to break one, you can actually just stop lock picking and start over again to reset the durability of your bobby pin. However, this may change where the unlock location is on the lock, so just be aware of that, because I ran out of bobby pins and it was a complete ass pain. So, after helping the ghouls leave town, Manny Vargas and Novak shows us his gratitude by letting us know that the man who shot us, Benny, was headed towards Boulder City with his goons the last time he saw them. So, I headed there, but shortly after arriving, I ended up stumbling into a hostage situation between the Great Khans and the NCR that was in the danger of escalating past the point of no return. So, I offered up my services to the NCR to try to get the people back safely, and lo and behold, the Khan who's in charge during this hostage situation was actually one of Benny's goons who was with him when he shot me. And he recognized me immediately, so I pressed him about the platinum chip, and he told me that Benny made off with it after stabbing them in the back and putting them in the situation that they're currently in. So, let's just be honest, Benny backstabbing really doesn't come as a surprise, but now that we know where we can find him, I make a speech check to convince the Khans to give up the hostages peacefully, and for the NCR just to escort them out of Boulder so that I can make my way to the Strip. But when I was trying to make my way into the Strip, I actually got blocked by Securitron. But thankfully, with my big boosted dinosaur brain from power leveling, I had enough science score to speak to the computer and short circuit him out so we could get onto the Strip and find Benny in the Tops Casino. And when I finally got a hold of Benny, he tells us the platinum chip he stole is actually just supposed to be delivered to Mr. House, who's the owner of the Lucky 38 casino, and it's kind of legend on the strip because nobody's been in his casino for like 200 years. And he thinks that actually holds something we could use to take over the New Vegas Strip for ourselves, and he wants my help to do it. However, I can't just let the fact that Benny shot me in the fucking face go, regardless if it was just business or not, so I answered Benny's offer the best way I know how by grabbing a nearby pool cue and giving him the beating he deserved before taking back the platinum chip. And then with the chip in hand, I decided it's time to take a little break from questing and do some gambling in the casinos on the strip to unlock a few more achievements, like a little wheel for playing 10 more spins of roulette, and the one-armed bandit for playing 10 spins of slots before working on the Courier who broke the bank achievement. Now, in order to get this achievement, you need to win enough money at every casino on the strip to get banned from them, and the easiest way to do this is just by playing some blackjack. Now, while playing blackjack, it's pretty easy to win if you do the max bet every time, either by doubling down anytime you have a number anywhere between 8 and 14 showing to win your hand, or by choosing to stay if you're anywhere between 15 and 21 showing in your hand. And by just following this simple method, I was able to get banned from the Tops, Ultralux, and Gomorrah casinos in about 15 or 20 minutes each, and then that's when I got the achievement to pop. After that, I moved on to the Globetrotter achievements, where you need to find 7 snow globes hidden around the map. And the first one was hidden in Good Spring Cemetery next to a grave, and the second one was actually on a shelf in Old Mormon Fort in Freeside, and then the third was in a hotel room in the Vault 21 Hotel on the Strip. Then the fourth one was actually located at the Nellis Air Force Base, which is honestly one of the more problematic ones to get, because if you haven't been there yet, when you try to run at the gate, you get bombarded by artillery. But since I had power level to 30, I had some decent gear, and then I lowered the game's difficulty to very easily, I could pretty much just face tank it and heal through until I got to the gate guards where I got invited in, and then I could go find the fourth one in the museum on the base. And the fifth one was inside Jacobstown Lodge on the receptionist desk, which was super easy to get, along with the sixth one because it's on the receptionist desk at the Hoover Dam Visitor Center. And then all that was left was the last one that's actually in the lounge of the Lucky 38 Casino, but you can't get access to the lounge until after you talk to Mr. House for the first time and see his little demonstration in the basement. So I hurried and did that, and then once I got to the lounge via the elevator, I was easily able to find the globe hidden behind one of the cash registers to unlock the achievement. Afterwards, I made a new base save back on the New Vegas Strip and was ready to finish some of the damage-related achievements, because the casinos on the Strip are the most populated areas in the game, where you can kind of go on your own personal American Psycho-styled rampage to easily unlock them. So I started off by slaughtering everyone I could find in the casinos with energy weapons to unlock the Blast Mastery achievement for dealing 10k damage with energy weapons. Then I reloaded my save and did the same thing with explosive weapons for the Love the Bomb achievement, and then again with the Power Fist for the Old Time Brawler achievement. And then one last time with the Super Sledge to unlock the New Vegas Samurai achievement for dealing 10k damage with melee weapons. But after finishing all of those, I had to reload my base save again because my bloodlust had been satisfied, and I got a bunch of fresh hits of dopamine for getting the achievements to pop. And it was time to start knocking out some of the side quest related achievements. The first side quest I took on was the GI Blues questline, where the Kings, a gang of Elvis impersonators, are having some issues between themselves and the NCR on their turf in Freeside. And it's nothing groundbreaking per se, but after helping the King by intervening during a shootout between the two sides and exposing his right-hand man as a traitor, I unlocked the GI Blue achievement. And then I headed over to the Tops Casino, where I helped out Tommy Torini recruit 4 new acts for his club to keep it popping to unlock the Talent Pool achievement, before heading to Camp Forlorn Hope for another side quest related achievement called Return to Sender. Now at the camp, you find Sergeant Reyes, who asks us for your help to expose some fuckery going on in the NCR by the intel chief at Camp Golf, who seems to be manipulating reconnaissance reports in order to try to get the NCR to pull out of the Mojave before it costs soldiers more of their lives. Now you can either keep this secret, or you can threaten to expose him to unlock the Return to Sender achievement, but if you threaten to expose him like I did, he actually goes into his office before making an announcement over the intercom and kills himself rather than face the consequences of his actions. Now, while this was kind of fucked up, there is a silver lining to this. After he kills himself, you can actually pick up his pistol, the Ranger Sequoia, which was one of the best pistols that you can find in the game. With that achievement out of the way though, I then headed over to the Helios 1 solar plant to help make it operational again for some douche who's named himself Mr. Fantastic, who's trying to make the plant operational for the NCR to power the New Vegas Strip. And this questline itself was pretty straightforward as well, but I did run into a snag early on trying to get the second terminal code for the questline. But But it turns out all I had to do to get the code in order to enable the solar plant was to pickpocket Ignacio in the room right next to Mr. Fantastic. But anyways, like I said, I got the code, I went and activated the terminals outside, and then I went into the control tower where I had to use a stealth boy to sneak past all the security and repair a generator with some scrap metal before heading to the top of the solar panels to make the solar plant operate at 100% efficiency. And then all I had to do is go back and talk to Captain Fantastic himself to finish the quest line to unlock that lucky old sun achievement. And from there, it's finally time to head back to the New Vegas Strip again, though, and make another save file I can revert back to later before starting to complete the game with the 3 major factions. Now, after completing the game with all 3 major factions, it turns out that they're all actually very similar to the sequence of events that take place and how things turn out, with some minor variations depending on how your relationships are with the other factions in the game, like the Brotherhood of Steel, the boomers on Nellis Air Force Base, the cons, etc., right? So rather than bore you with all 3 stories, I'm just going to show you a quick montage of the NCR and Legion quest lines before we talk about what happens when you align yourself with Mr. House and take over the New Vegas Strip and the surrounding wasteland, because I found this one to be the most intriguing and rewarding for me to play through. So once you go talk to Mr. House and hand over the platinum chip, he explains to you that it actually contains a software upgrade for his Securitrons, increasing their effectiveness and lethality, and gives you a demonstration of it in the basement of the Lucky 38. And then afterwards, he tells you that he wants you to take the chip and go meet up with the Legion's Kaiser and convince him to give you access to the bunker located beneath their camp on the far side of the Hoover Dam, where he has an army of Securitrons waiting to be activated and upgraded with the new software, so that he can use them to not only take over the Strip, but the Hoover Dam as well. Of course, when you show up to the fort, Kaiser isn't stupid, and he knows whatever is down in that bunker belongs to Mr. House and tasks you to destroy it. But I've already thrown my support behind Mr. House for this playthrough, so instead of doing what Kaiser wanted, I do as Mr. House asked and hightail it back to the Strip before the Legion figures it out. Then for the next step in the quest line, he asked me to go put down or gain the support of some of the other factions in the game, so I kindly obliged. I took out the Boomers leadership over at Nellis Air Force Base because I didn't want to go back through their quest line again before heading down to the Brotherhood of Steel bunker in Hidden Valley, just to pickpocket the self-destruct keys off their leadership and blow them back to the Stone Age, before heading to the Gamora Casino to take the Gamora family out of business so they wouldn't cause any problems here at home while we took over the dam. And while all that was easy, it was a bit of a problem when it came to dealing with the NCR because things got a little fucky. So Mr. House sends you to protect the NCR president from getting assassinated for some reason, but I don't really know because I never got the chance to save him because I was only using the quick saves while going through this playthrough with him. And I ran past one of the guards going up to the landing pad where the president's bird was supposed to land, and it immediately made the NCR hostile and killed the president. And before I knew it, it unlocked the You'll Know It When It Happens achievement. Now, I actually thought I completely fucked up Mr. House's questline at this point because I failed the initial House Always Wins quest, but it turns out that the achievement that popped is actually related to the NCR's questline, and despite failing that quest, you can just tell House that the president died, and he'll let you move on with his questline where he needs you to go jumpstart a reactor over at a power substation for the Securitrons underneath the fort. And after doing so, I went back to Mr. House, let him know that the reactor was set up and ready to go, so then it was time to finally head to the Hoover Dam for the final battle and unlock the House Always Wins achievement. So I arrived at the dam with a few Securitrons at my back, and I fought and talked my way into the dam to install an override chip so Mr. House could reroute the power from the dam to the Securitron vault underneath the fort, before heading back to the surface and battling my way through the Legion's hordes to reach their camp and confront Kaiser's second-in-command, Legate Lanius. Once I finally reached the Legate, I think if I had 100 speech, I could have actually convinced them that the fight was over and they just would have retreated, but since I didn't, it turned out into an all-out fucking slugfest until I was finally able to put him down so I could get back to the dam to deal with the NCR. But it turns out that the NCR decided to come to me instead and give me a massive fucking headache by blowing at the gate into the Legate's camp. Then none other than General Lee Oliver walks in, giving us his praises for taking down the Legion before we inform him that we're actually working for Mr. House and not here to help the NCR. And let's just say he was less than thrilled about it when our army of Securitrons rolled up behind him. I did try to solve this diplomatically though with the general, but after all my attempts, his ego was just too big to let the dam go, so I had to solve the problem the only way I knew how. And afterwards, Mr. House rolls up and begins to explain to us how the new economic free zone of New Vegas will be a step in a new direction for mankind, and how this is just the start when the credits roll and we unlock the all or nothing achievement for finishing the game aligned to Mr. House, and the hardcore achievement for completing the game with hardcore mode enabled from the beginning. Then I gotta watch how the story comes to a close and see how my actions affected all the people of the Wasteland, and it really makes you feel like you accomplished something while making you wonder how things might have played out differently if you had chose to go another route. But there wasn't much time for me to reminisce though, because I still had plenty of other achievements I needed to get unlocked, so I reloaded my save again before agreeing to work with Mr. House and got started. The first thing I did was travel around the map to buy up all the stim packs and food I could find from my casino winnings earlier before finding some water deep enough to drown myself in, because in hardcore mode, healing is done over time, so I could just literally sit there drowning, taking damage while popping stim packs and eating food to unlock the Stimply Amazing achievement for healing 10,000 HP with stim packs, and then the Desert Survivalist achievement for healing 10k HP for using food items. Then the next thing I had to do was learn how to play Caravan, which is the card game in New Vegas, and the goal here is to get 26 on 2 out of the 3 caravans before the computer does, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really understand how to play this game properly at all. But I found a guide on YouTube that explained that you should stack your decks with 7s, 9s, and 10s, and then discard pretty much everything else at the beginning of the game, so that when it starts, you can easily reach 26 on 2 out of 3 of the caravans and win it. And just by knowing that, I was able to go through and unlock the Know When to Fold 'Em achievement for winning 3 games. And then after a couple hours of struggling, I was able to unlock the Caravan Master achievement for winning 30 games. With that being said, NPCs apparently won't play Caravan with you anymore if you win too much and take all their caps, so there are 2 exceptions to this that I found out. Apparently Ringo, you know, the guy I killed at the beginning, to power level, and the NCR ambassador at the embassy on the New Vegas Strip. So if you're trying to have a hard time finding Caravan players, just find one of these 2 guys and you can just keep playing them over and over again until you unlock the achievement. After that, I headed over to the Vault 21 hotel on the Strip, where I decided to work on the Artful Pickpocketer achievement because the receptionist here has unlimited items that you can pickpocket from her. However, if you're like me and you have a low skill in stealth and pickpocketing, it's very hard to do this without getting caught, because once you get caught, you can't pickpocket the same person again, right? So what I did is I'd wait till she'd sit down at a desk, sit behind her, use the auto rest features, or the rest feature, so I could auto save, and then try to pickpocket her. And I'd rest in between each pickpocket until I was able to do it 50 times successfully and unlock the achievement. Following that achievement, I decided to work on the whole Gangs Here achievement, where you need to recruit all 8 companions that are available in the base game, which I probably should have done so sooner, because they give you some pretty cool perks, right? So like, for example, Raul, if you recruit him, he gives you the regular maintenance perk that reduces weapon and armor decay by 50%. Or if you recruit Arcade Ganon and have him with you in your party, he gives you the better healing perk that increases your healing from all sources by 20%, which would probably be super useful for the Simply Amazing and the Desert Survivalist achievements that I did before. But after that, it was time to deal with the biggest collectible achievement in the game, and it's called the Legend of the Star, where you have to find 50 blue star bottle caps, right? And honestly, just do yourself a favor and look up the cap locations on the New Vegas wiki, because the blue stars are printed on the bottom of the caps, and most of them in the game are not actually showing, like they're not sitting bottom up so you can see the blue stars on them, right? So if you're not paying attention to the names on them, or just pick every little single spare cap that you find in any room ever, it's going to take you forever to find all these fucking caps. But once you have all 50 caps, you have to go talk to this machine named Festus over in the Sunset Sarsaparilla headquarters, and then he gives you some bullshit story, and you have to complain about, hey, I want my real reward for turning in these 50 caps, right? And then you'll end up failing the quest, and he'll give you another quest called A Valuable Lesson, where you have to go find the real reward in a spare room somewhere inside the Sunset Sarsaparilla headquarters building. And once you go in that room, it's just a bunch of crates and a dead guy's body, right? And inside the crates, there's a bunch of bottle caps you can pick up as part of your reward. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me why this achievement wasn't popping until I went and looked it up again. And I found out there's a holotape sitting right next to Alan Marks' dead body in that room. And once you pick up that holotape, the achievement will pop. With only 2 achievements left to go, though, I moved on to the next one, the Mod Machine achievement, where I needed to equip 20 weapons with 20 weapon mods. And I went all over finding all the vendors I could in the Wasteland to fucking get this done. And I was just fucking struggling until I found the Gunrunners. Because the Gunrunners sell weapon mods, and they sell the weapons to equip them to a lot of the time. And if you just rest in 72-hour increments between each time you buy and sell stuff to them, you can eventually get enough weapons and enough mods off of them where you can get this achievement done easily, and that's what I did and got it to pop. And after that, there's only one achievement left that I needed, and that was the Hack the Mojave achievement for hacking 25 terminals. And I could never figure out the trick to hacking these goddamn things, though, so I kind of just used the same trick earlier that I talked about with lockpicking, where if I didn't guess the password by the third guess, I would just exit the terminal and re-access it to get more chances, until eventually I found enough terminals and got enough chances to fucking get the achievement done and finish the game. I just want to thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate it, and you should go check out one of these videos next before you go to unlock some more achievements.